Hi, kids! How was your winter holiday? You know what? Let's share our holiday stories together. But before that, we're going to look at an interesting Bible story. It happened at the time of the Judges. This story is about how God redeemed Ruth, how Ruth became an important part in the big God story. Now, these three women lived with their husbands in a place called Moab. There was Ruth, there was Ruth's mother in law, Naomi, and then there was Ruth's sister in law. Although Naomi was an Israelite, she was living with her family in Moab because Israel was going through a famine. A famine is a time when there wasn't enough food for everyone. Back then, Moabites and Israelites didn't get along. Remember King Eglon and Ehud the left-handed man? Yeah, Eglon was the Moab king. After a while, Naomi's husband died. Then Ruth's husband died. And then the sister-in-law's husband died. Not a good situation for these women, because back then, women couldn't provide for themselves without husbands. So when Naomi heard that there was a way to get food back in her homeland in Judah, she decided to go back.
Hey, Ruth and my other daughter-in-law, you can go live with your families in Moab, because I want to go back to Israel, my home country.
Ruth's sister-in-law left.
But Mom, I want to stay with you.
No, you shouldn't come with me. You should find another husband.
No, where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God.
Oh, you are so nice.
No, Mom, you're so nice.
No, you're nicer.
And you are more than nicer. You know what? Let's just hug it out.
That was a good hug. Okay, let us travel back to my home country tomorrow. Before that, let us pack up and prepare for the trip.
After some time of traveling and occasional hugging, the two women arrived in Judah. But they have a problem. Naomi and Ruth had no money.
Mom, let me go to the fields and pick over the leftover grain.
You are so nice. Thank you so much.
No, you're nicer. This is the field. Let me pick up some leftover grain so we can make bread at home.
While Ruth gathers the grain, there is a well-off good guy entering the field and watching her. His name is Boaz. Little did Ruth know the field belonged to this man, and it was part of God's plan for her to be there because God had chosen Boaz as her kinsman redeemer. What's a kinsman redeemer? Oh, don't worry, you'll hear about it soon.
Hey, my faithful servant, who is that girl?
Girl?
You see that one, the hardworking one.
That one. She's a foreigner who came back with her mother-in-law, Naomi. She's a pretty cool lady. Her husband died, but she chose to stay and support the family. She works hard and has a good reputation, you know. She is single.
Hey, hardworking girl, keep collecting from my field. You work hard and have a good reputation.
Thank you so much, sir.
Oh, I'm not a sir. I'm not that old.
Not a sir? That's an interesting name.
During lunchtime, the servant brings out the table and two chairs, and bread and vinegar.
Here, have some bread. Dip it in vinegar. And take some roasted grain.
Thank you so much, not a sir.
Oh, my name is Boaz. Nice meeting you. Hey, my faithful servant, take good care of this young, nice lady. Give her whatever she needs and extra.
I gathered a sack of barley.
Wow, you are so super nice. Blessed be the man who took notice of you.
No, Mom, you're super nice. There was a man. His name was Boaz.
Oh, Boaz. Wait, Boaz. Right! That man is our close relative. He is one of our kinsmen redeemers.
Freeze! Okay, let me explain. In the Bible, it is written a long time ago, like 3,000 years ago, a kinsman redeemer was someone in Israel who redeemed or brought back the property of a family member who lost their money. They also sometimes married the daughter, sister, or widow of the man who died to carry on the family line. Okay, moving on. Unfreeze!
I've been taking food from Boaz's field, and now we have enough food for us.
It is nice that you have been getting food, but you know what else is nice? If you were to have a husband. And I have just the idea. Wash yourself, put on some perfume, and get dressed in your best clothes. Then go down to the threshing floor where Boaz will be. But make sure no one sees you.
You want me to do what?
You heard me. Trust me. This will work.
Okay.
A threshing floor is a big rock slab where all of the bundles of grain go after they're collected. This is also where big oxen would step on the grain to break the grain free from the straw. And then, to separate the straw and the grain, the farmer would throw the straw and the grain mixture into the air on a windy day. The straw gets blown away by the wind, while the grain falls to the ground due to how heavy it is.
Who's there? Who are you?
I am your servant, Ruth. Boaz, will you be my kinsman redeemer?
Wow, that's super direct. And you don't beat around the bush at all. Of course, it's a yes from me. You are super nice.
I'm so glad you said yes.
The only problem is another guy is first in line. So I have to talk to him before I can become your kinsman redeemer.
Yes, I understand.
See? What did I tell you? I am an expert at this. I might even start my own dating app for a matchmaking business.
A matchmaking what?
Don't worry about it. We should celebrate. Let's hug again.
Yay!
Hey man, let's talk about whether you would like to buy back Naomi's land.
Sure, why not?
Would you do it still if you had to marry one of the women in the family?
Not really, no. Would you?
Yes, let's go. There's a chance. I mean, only if you really don't want to.
Whatever, bro. All yours.
Then Boaz takes off one shoe and gives it to the other man. The other man takes off one of his shoes, gives it to Boaz, and they leave. At that time, like 3,000 years ago in Israel, people did this kind of thing with their shoes when they finalized on an agreement.
I am going to redeem Naomi by marrying Ruth. I am so happy. Thanks for becoming my wife.
Thanks for redeeming my mother-in-law and me, for buying the land that we could no longer pay for, and for keeping our family line alive. You're super nice. Let's hug.
God answered people's prayer and let Ruth and Boaz have a baby, and they named him Obed. Obed was the grandfather of King David. Remember, God chose David's family to be the family line of the promised Redeemer, Jesus, who would eventually be born about 1,000 years later. That means Ruth and Boaz are Jesus' great, 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 great grandparents. Through this part of the Big God story, God showed that even when things were difficult for Ruth and Naomi, He was weaving everything together to not only redeem them, buy back their land from their helpless situation, but use them in His big, story. Ruth was blessed with the privilege of having a child who would continue the family line of Jesus Christ. Hey kids, God made Jesus our kinsman redeemer when he died for us and rose again. He redeemed us back from a life of sin and gave us new life, forever with him. Because of his great love for us, he chose to use us, just like he chose to use Ruth to be a part of his big story. Please remember what God has done for us. At home, let's spend time praying to God. Be nice to God, for he has been super nice to us. And never forget, we have been redeemed by Jesus. He protects us, cares for us, and we belong to him. See you next week.